Have you heard about the recent story of Dubiously Curious, a Redditor who lost his entire savings investing in a stock? Back in 2018, he realized something huge. Nvidia wasn't just making gaming graphics cards, it was building the backbone of AI. So what did he do? Believing he'd struck gold, he went all in. Not just with his £100,000 savings. No, of course not. Why settle for normal gains when you can triple them with borrowed money? For a while, the gamble seemed to pay off. As Nvidia's stock climbed, he watched his investment grow to life-changing levels. Then, COVID hit. His high-stakes, leveraged bet turned against him, amplifying the crash. Margin calls forced him to sell at rock-bottom prices, wiping him out completely. But here's the cruel twist. Nvidia bounced back, hard. Had he simply held on, he'd be sitting on a cool £6.6 million today. Instead, poof, gone. Every last penny. Now, you might think, that's just bad luck. Who could predict COVID? And that brings us to Warren Buffett.
To make money they didn't have and didn't need, they risked what they did have and did need. And that's just plain stupid.
See, Buffett understands something most don't. The riskiest bets come when you already have enough, but you want more. That is lesson number 1. Knowing when you have enough is more valuable than chasing more. Welcome to the psychology of money, where we uncover why some people build fortunes, while others turn their life savings into a very expensive lesson. And this is Thinking Animations, bringing you financial wisdom with just the right amount of humor. Because let's face it, sometimes money decisions are hilariously bad. Money isn't just about numbers, it's about behavior. And today, we're diving into 5 powerful lessons from this incredible book that could change how you think about wealth forever. From real-life stories of billionaires, to that one Reddit guy who went all in on Nvidia at the worst possible time, these insights might just save you from making $1 million mistake. Lesson 2. The power of compounding. Imagine a single snowflake falling on a mountaintop. No big deal, right? But let that snowflake stick around, add a little more snow each year, and fast forward a few centuries. And boom, you've got an ice age. Scientists once thought it took huge events, volcanic eruptions, shifting mountains, to change the planet. But nope, turns out small, consistent changes over time created these massive shifts. Sound familiar? Kinda like how you tell yourself just one more cookie and suddenly you're wondering why your genes have shrunk. Because the same principle that covered the earth in ice also made Warren Buffett one of the richest men alive. Not by chasing huge wins, but by compounding small gains for over 75 years. He didn't YOLO into Dogecoin, he just stayed in the game. Fun fact, 99% of Buffett's wealth came after his 50th birthday. Imagine if he'd retired at 60 to play golf. He'd be rich, sure, but nowhere near $136 billion rich. And this isn't just about billionaires. It's a lesson for anyone trying to grow their wealth. You don't need to be the world's best investor. You just need time on your side. Kind of like how Grandma's secret recipe isn't actually that special. She's just been making it for 50 years. So, what's the key takeaway? Don't chase insane returns. Instead, aim for pretty good returns that you can stick with for a really long time. Because when it comes to money, the most powerful force isn't intelligence, it's patience. Compounding is like a cheat code for life. It is your secret weapon. The earlier you start, the more ridiculous the results. Just ask Warren Buffett, or a snowflake on a mission. Lesson number 3, everything has a price. Wouldn't it be great if getting rich was as easy as pushing a button? Just tap Get Rich Fast and boom, retirement in Bali. But here's the catch, everything has a price, and that also applies for investing. And if something looks free, that just means you haven't seen the bill yet. Take General Electric. In 2004, they were basically the Beyoncé of the corporate world. A household name, unstoppable. Investors loved them, and why wouldn't they? For a decade, they were the biggest or second biggest company in the world. But by 2018, they were a financial cautionary tale. Their stock tanked from $40 to $7. Imagine paying for a luxury car only to end up with a used scooter. What happened? GE's magic money machine, its financing division, was a massive profit engine, until the 2008 financial crisis hit and turned it into a money pit. Then some disastrous bets on oil and energy made things even worse. Billions lost, stockholders furious. CEO Jeff Immelt took the heat and stepped down. And here's where this lesson applies to you, especially if you're investing. Take this chart. Looks like long-term wealth, right? But zoom in, and it's a horror movie. The S&P 500 increased 119 times in 50 years, but along the way, investors saw multiple crashes, recessions, and days where they just wanted to crawl under a rock. If you invest, you will see days, weeks, even years where your portfolio is bleeding. That's the price. Volatility, fear, doubt, regret. It's all part of the deal. It's like theme parks, the biggest, most exciting rides. They come with the longest lines and the biggest drops. But those drops, that's what makes the ride worth it. Here's the mistake people make. They try to dodge the price. They trade in and out, thinking they can time the market. But history shows that most people who try, they end up paying double. It's like leaving the roller coaster mid-loop, not a great outcome. The real move? Accept the price. Volatility isn't a fine for doing something wrong. It's the admission fee for long-term returns. And if you stay in your seat, compounding will do the rest. Lesson 4. Always have room for error. Meet Jake. He's a seasoned card counter, and he thinks he's cracked the code to beating the house. Tonight, he's all in, literally. And then, the dealer flips a card, 21. But not for Jake, for the house. And just like that, he's wiped out. Now, Jake isn't just out of chips, he's out of the game. But the best card counters, they don't make this mistake. They know the golden rule: you never bet so much that you can't play another hand. That's because winning isn't about certainty, it's about odds. Smart players don't just plan for the best-case scenario. They leave room for error. And guess what? The same rule applies to money. Think of your financial plan like a game of blackjack. You might think you've got everything figured out. The perfect job, a solid investment strategy, a retirement plan that looks great on paper. But what happens when life deals you an unexpected card? A job loss, a market crash, a sudden medical bill. If you've bet everything on your plan going perfectly, you could end up like Jake, staring at an empty wallet. This is why legends like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates always leave themselves a safety net. Gates made sure Microsoft had enough cash to cover a year's worth of payroll, just in case. And Buffett? He'd rather sleep soundly than risk everything for a few extra dollars. Here's how you can implement a safety margin. Diversify your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, unless you really enjoy scrambling to recover after a crash. Spread your money across different assets to cushion the blows. Take calculated risks. Only take risks where the downside is manageable, ensuring you can recover if things don't go as planned. Build a strong safety net. Have an emergency fund with at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses, because "I'll just wing it" is not a retirement strategy. Plan for lower returns. Assume your investments will perform below historical averages, so you're prepared for less favorable market conditions. Avoid catastrophic losses. If there's a chance you could lose everything, run the other way. You don't want to end up explaining to your family why you bet the house on meme stocks. Because the most important part of any plan is planning on your plan, not going according to plan. Lesson number 5. Don't be fooled by luxuries. You know what's great about being a valet? You get to drive Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Rolls Royces for a grand total of 30 seconds. It's like being rich, but without the financial stress or the car payments. When I was younger, I thought these cars were the ultimate "I made it" sign. You know, the kind of thing that makes people look at you and say, "Wow, that guy is successful." But here's what actually happens. When you see someone in a luxury car, you don't think, "That person must be amazing." You think, "Wow, if I had that car, people would think I'm amazing." That's the hilarious paradox. We think wealth will make people admire us. But in reality, they're too busy picturing themselves in our place, literally. Let's talk about Roger. One day he rolls up in a Porsche, big boss energy. The next week, he pulls up in a Honda that looks like it survived the apocalypse. Turns out Roger didn't own the Porsche, The bank did, and when he stopped paying, the bank decided it looked better in their parking lot. Wealth isn't what you see, it's what you don't see. It's the sports cars not bought, the designer watches not flexed, the Instagram selfies not posted with #RichVibes. Even Rihanna almost went broke once. She sued her financial advisor, and his response: was it really necessary to tell her that if you spend money on things, you will have things and not the money? Yes, it was. Look, money can buy cool things. But if what you really want is respect and admiration, don't rely on horsepower and Gucci belts to get it. Try humility, kindness, and a little financial wisdom instead. Those last way longer than a leased Ferrari. And hey, at least no one can repossess that. So always remember, spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. Finally, to summarize, never risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need. Small, smart moves today can snowball into mind-blowing results later, because compounding is basically magic, minus the wizard hat. Investing isn't free. The price tag is volatility and the occasional heart attack when the market dips. Pay up and stay in the game. And since life loves throwing curveballs, build yourself a financial cushion, because let's be honest, stress is way more expensive. Also, never judge a book by its Rolex. Some of the wealthiest people look like they shop exclusively at dad bod clearance sales, while some rich folks are one bad month away from starring in their own financial horror movie. So play the game wisely, stack your wealth quietly, and let everyone wonder how you pulled it off. That's the real flex. If you've made it this far, you've already invested time in improving your financial knowledge. So why not take it even further? Subscribe to our channel for more money-smart insights. Because unlike that impulse Amazon purchase, this one actually pays off. And while you're at it, drop a like. It costs nothing, but the ROI in good karma is huge. Which lesson hit home for you? Drop a comment below. Let's talk about building wealth, or at least how to avoid ending up like Roger and his repossessed Porsche. Stay tuned for more expert insights in our upcoming videos designed to help you navigate your financial journey with confidence. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay smart, stay savvy, and remember, wealth is what you don't spend.